Hello there guys, welcome back to Football Manager 2023 and welcome back to the series, our epic quest across Europe to win the top flight division in each of the European nation names. I'm your host Dean and welcome back to Greece, nation number 20 out of 33 on our epic journey. We're currently the manager of Aris in Greek, Aris Salonika I believe it's pronounced. We've reached that point of the season, like I said in the last episode, where the league does split, so we'll have a look through it. We'll start on our manager profile like we always do. You can see here that we did manage to finish in 4th position in the Greek Super League, which when we took over looked highly unlikely. If we have a quick look at the Super League, you can see the league has now split. We're in the Championship group there, along with Olympiacos, PAOK, Panachaiki, Aris, AEK and Aris Tripolis. The noticeable name there that's not there is Panathinaikos, and as a result their manager they sacked him basically. Now I did have a look at it. I did have a look at Panathinaikos, but their finances aren't great. The wage budget is marginally better than ours. The players they've got again maybe slightly better than ours, but I didn't think it was worth the risk. To be honest, AEK are also insecure. That is the one I want if it does become available. They've got £61 million in the bank. We're minus 8 million, I think we are. The wage budget is triple ours. So that is the one that we do want if that does become available. But how the league table went, like I said, we took over with them down near the bottom of the table. We doubled their points tally for the season in our first 2 games in the last episode. We've managed to get to 41 points. Olympiacos are gone. They're 20 points clear of PAOK in 2nd place. AEK scraped in. We scraped in really last day really. We sort of scraped in. You can see Panathinaikos missed out by 2 points over AEK. Yeah, it was close. We've made a couple of signings, just the 2 since you were last with us. We've brought in 2 players. If we sorted by date, we've brought in Alejandro Garcia from FC Porto, 1.7 million, left-sided inside forward. He's not been great. I'll be honest, he's not been great. 1 goal, 1 assist in 9 appearances, a 6.7 average rating is a pretty poor return, to be honest, for the young Mexican. And we've brought in a favourite of ours from Slavia Prague. We've brought in Miguel Geraldinho. He cost us £55,000. Yes, he's 34 years old now, but it was worth a punt. He hasn't scored yet, 6.6. He has spent a lot of time injured as well, unfortunately, since he joined us. But the amount of goals that he did bang in for us at Slavia Prague, I thought, you know, for £55,000, yes, he's on decent wages, but I thought it was worth a punt. Financially, like I say, 8.5 million in debt. We're over the wage budget. We could really do with getting into Europe for next season. Schedule-wise, of course, since you were last with us, it was... who did we take on? We did these 2, didn't we? Panachaiki and Giannina. We then had a few draws. We've only lost 1 game as the manager of Aris, which has been pretty good. Levadiakos, we'll call it Levadiakos. Stamatelis put us ahead in the 4th minute. Hater got one back from the penalty spot. Stamatelis, by the way, we've moved him on. We got £350,000 for him. Not a lot to Belgian side Michelin. He was unhappy, moved him on. So 1-1 in that one, despite dominating the game. Iraklis were next up. Again, we threw away points. Luis Carlos gave us the lead in the 88th minute. I said we threw away points. They equalised in the 91st minute from the penalty spot again. Even game, draw probably a fair result, but again, it's dropped points for us. Next up was bear with me, guys. Pantelikos, we'll go with that. 2-0 in this one, very nice. Savkovic and Mane from the penalty spot, good result. It was back to draws though, 4 of them in a row. It was Atromitos in this one. We scored both the goals, and Bomb scored the own goal in the 18th minute. We dominated the game. Should have won, really, but we didn't. Next up was PAOK. This was a good result against PAOK, 4-4. A good result, but then when you look at the match stats, it kind of tells you a different story. We should have won, really. Aris Tripolis, another okay result. Again, we were the better team. Couldn't put the ball in the back of the net again, unfortunately, though. So another 0-0 draw. And then it was Panathinaikos, who we now know this is probably a pretty poor result, but it was Kanavitas with the goal for us. Aliforopoulos. 70th minute for Panathinaikos. Another game that we probably deserve to win. This is the game that we signed Geraldinho. His first game, picked up an injury. Did bounce back to winning ways in the next game though, and it was against Panathinaikos. It was Aris Salonika with the goal. He missed a penalty in the 20th minute. We got another one 6 minutes later. He stepped up again, scored this one. A hugely massive XG, obviously 2 penalties. They didn't have a single shot on target, so it was another good result. Now this was the result of the season for us. It was 4-0 against AEK, arguably the biggest team in Greece. Pedro Ivo, Francesco Adamo and Canavitas with 2 goals. Savkovic picked up the man of the match on the right hand side. 23 shots we limited to AEK to just the 3 and a 0.08 XG, which just tells you how dominant we were in this game. It was a fantastic display. But then we've picked up our only defeat, and it is to the runaway leaders in Olympiacos. They needed a penalty to score the goal. Even game in terms of match stats. We weren't very good going forward though. Savkovic with a 6.1. Quite disappointing. But then we have gone on a little bit of a streak again. We did draw against OFI, unfortunately. Adamo with the goal for us. We conceded the 91st minute again to throw more points away. But then we've won 4 in a row. The first one against Panachaiki. The team directly above us in the table. And it was Savkovic and Adamo with the goals before Rui Teixeira got one back in the 58th minute for Panachaiki. Again, fairly even game. We were slightly better and we did get the win, which is what counts. Giannina, again, 2-1 in this one. Mane and Garcia with the goals. Gluga with the goal for Giannina in the 55th minute. Closer than I'd have liked it, considering where they are in the league. I think they're bottom, possibly relegated pretty much already. Levidiakos were next. Karoupis with the goal in the 65th minute. Another good performance by Aris, and we took all 3 points. Next up, the final game that we have played is against Iraklis. Idrissa Mane in the 76th minute. We didn't get going in this game, really. We were quite poor going forward again. But we have come away with the win. So what we're going to do today, guys, because we've got however many games left. 10 I think. So we're going to do PAOK. And then we're going to come back in the last day and do Olympiacos. Obviously, with us not being in contention for the league or we're well clear of relegation, it's all about the European places now. So I don't want to drag it out too long. We'll do the 2 games and we'll see where we're at going into next season. Right, guys, and here we are at the game. Just quickly, AEK did play before us and they did lose again. So that's an opportunity there. If they keep losing, we've got them next. If we can beat them again, then that job could become available very quickly, so I will keep an eye on that. In terms of our lineup though, it's a little refresher for the squad as well. You've only been here for 1 episode, but it's going to be Daktilas in goal. Reasonable goalkeeper, 33 years old now, is getting on a little bit, but he's more than capable. Paco, I don't know if that's pronounced as a Pacho with the hyphen under the C like that. Comes in at right back today, Portuguese, 28 years old. He's had a solid season. Pretty pleased with him. Karoupis in the centre of defence. I don't think you've seen Karoupis yet. He was suspended in the last episode when you were here. 26-year-old Greek central defender. He's done okay this season. He's not too bad and he's done okay. Alongside him is going to be Flegas, who, again, he's actually played really well for us this season. Flegas, he's a reasonable defender. He's played all the way across the back line for us as well. 25-year-old Greek, not on a lot of money. Quite pleased with Flegas, to be honest. He's done okay. Left back is going to be what's considered to be the best player at the club in Carlos. Was it Carlos? It might have been Carlos. I don't know. I think it was. He's going to come in at left back, the 18-year-old Brazilian for us today. Again, he's reasonable. I've not really played him too much. 6.75 average rating in the games he has played. Reasonable. I'm not overly impressed with him. For that value, it's someone who I might look to move on. Midfield today, we're going to swap these 2 around because Rezic and Svarnas are better the other way around if Football Manager actually lets me. Come on, Football Manager. It does this sometimes, but it doesn't let you swap the players. Defensive midfield on the defend is going to be Rezic, naturally a central defender, so it makes sense for him to go in as that defensive midfielder. Alongside him is the 2 second of Landes is going to be Svarnas. Had a okay season, Svarnas. Not too bad of a player. And then it's going to be Mithmis on the other side again. Had a reasonable season. Two wingers is going to be Savkovic, naturally a striker, but he can play on this right-hand side. He's actually pretty decent in terms of his attributes. Form's been hit and miss though. On the other side, it's going to be our signing Garcia, who really hasn't hit the ground running, but he really does need to start. That's sort of bucking his ideas up, really. We paid 1.7 for him. He's valued triple that now. So again, somebody who may look to move on. And then up top today is going to be Pedro Ivo, 22-year-old Brazilian. Again, he's only played twice for us. Probably looks to bring him off at half time. We do have players on the bench. Geraldinho is not on the bench though. We're going to get Geraldinho on the bench instead of. Yeah, we'll go with that one. So that's the lineup for the first game, guys. And we are underway, and it is Aris with the first highlight. It's a Garcia free kick, lofted in towards that back post, but it's headed clear. Garcia does well to win the ball back. Down the line towards Savkovic. Can he pick out a teammate in the area? Comes back to Pacho instead. Inside, it's a poor pass and it's cleared. But only as far as Flegas, who is bringing the ball forward again. Needs some support though. He's got Carlos outside of him. Good ball forward. First time to Garcia. Pulls it across for Savkovic. It's been given offside against Garcia. As we look to take the lead there in the derby. PAOK are a derby for us as well, of course. But good start. As now PAOK look to come forward. It's Ntumba with the corner towards that back post. Well, they've hit the crossbar and Stratterberg does put his own rebound in the back of the net for PAOK to take the lead in the 20th minute. That's disappointing. And it's PAOK coming forward again down this right-hand side zone. As Garcia does well to win the ball back though. Goes back to Daktilas in goal. Can he pick out a teammate? He goes long and he gives the ball straight back to PAOK. Pedro Ivo does chase after it though, but it's now Lior with the ball to Quintero. Down the line towards that guy's name. Stratterberg, the goal scorer. Nice little spell of possession here for PAOK. Have they got anything at the end of though? Stratterberg to Quintero again. Lior to Quintero. Stratterberg down the line. Ntumba picks the ball up. Now they're making some progress now, but no, they come back instead to Quintero. Comes back inside to Lior, who goes long towards this right hand side, and Perez who's in, and Perez makes it 2-0 to PAOK. Here comes the VAR decision though. Was he offside? Was Gustavo Perez offside when that ball was played to him? Yes, he was. Thankfully for us, that would have been pretty bad for us to go 2-0 down so early on in the game. As we are looking to get back into it, it's Daktilas with the goal kick. It goes long. It's given straight back to them again. And Svanas can't win his header, but the ball does fall at the feet of Carlos, driving down this left-hand side. He's got Garcia ahead of him inside the area. Can he put it across for Savkovic? Marko Savkovic gets his 7th goal of the season to level the derby game for Aris with a great move down this left-hand side. Garcia picking up the assist. Carlos with the ball. The run from Garcia there is fantastic. It's a fantastic pass to him, and it's a great pull across for Savkovic, who'd lost his marker, and we level the game on the stroke of the half-hour mark. And at half-time, PAOK are on top, unfortunately for us. They've better possession, much better possession, shots, stuff like that. They are on top, but the scores are level, so anything can happen. Right, first highlight of the second half. It's Garcia with the corner towards Karupis at that near post. The header is a poor one though, and it's gone just over the bar. Made a couple of changes. Brought Geraldinho on. We've brought Bomb on as well. Moved Flegas out to the right hand side and Bomb into the centre of defence. PAOK are still on top as we approach the final 5 minutes of the game. I think a draw would be a decent result against PAOK. I think they're probably the second biggest team in the country after AEK. And it looks like we're going to get that draw. So I'm not too disheartened at that. We were a little bit poor in areas, but I think that's a good result. So after that game, we remain in 4th place in the table. The teams below us have already played. Asteras Tripolis are the team who beat AEK. It's Olympiakos against Panachaiki are the two left to play. So 4th place as things stand. Like I said, guys, we'll come back at the last game of the season against Olympiakos. And we'll see just where we're going to finish. So I'll catch up with you guys again in just a minute. Right, hello guys and welcome back. We've made it to the last game of the season. You can see here we've got the fixtures up. Of course, we did have that 1-1 draw with PAOK in the first game of the episode. We then took on AEK. It was a disappointing 0-0 draw. We really wanted to be beating AEK with their manager increasingly under fire. We want to get ourselves in there for next season if we can. We did deserve to win the game. Unfortunately, we didn't. We basically started off our championship group with a load of draws. Next was Aris Salonika. 1-1 draw in this one. We conceded late on again, which was highly disappointing. Panachiki 2-2 in this one. We went 2-1 down. We had to come back ourselves in this one. Pedro Ivo getting the equalising goal. Another game in which we deserved to win. 1-1 with Olympiacos was a good result. Of course, Olympiacos are the champions, basically. There was no catching them this season. Mithimis with the goal for us. Again, we were the better team. Deserved to win. We did lose, disappointingly, in the derby to PAOK 3-0. We just didn't get going. We had one shot the entire game. We were very, very poor. Thankfully, we did beat AEK, though. Luis Carlos with the only goal of the game in the 29th minute. Another good performance. And we've followed that up with 2 more wins. The first one against Aris Tripolis. I'll get these names right eventually, guys. Stamatis scored the goal for them in the 79th minute, but Marko Savkovic had already put us 2-0 up. Again, it was another really, really good performance by Aris. And then most recently have taken on Panachiki. And Bomb got the only goal of the game in the 87th minute to make it 1-0. So where that leaves us coming into the final games of the season is we're guaranteed 3rd place. We can't go any higher, we can't go any lower. We are taking on Olympiacos, the champions. AEK, a joint bottom, so hopefully who they play in, they've got PAOK. And if we have a look at AEK's fixtures, they've had a shocking championship group. They've had 2 wins, but the PAOK did beat them 4-0 in the previous game. So where that leaves us in terms of how the AEK manager is doing is insecure. Insecure, and they're rich. So we really want to be getting ourselves in there. And that's something I'm going to be looking to do during the summer. We are going to take on Olympiacos, though. We're going to do the final game of the season. And wrap the season up. And this is the lineup that we're going to go with. It's going to be Daktilas in goal, Pacho, Karupis and Bomb and Suarez Jr. Across the back 4, Svarnas, Adamo and Mithimis with Kovalovic, Luis Carlos and Savkovic going forward. And we're straight on the attack in the 4th minute. It's Luis Carlos to whip the free kick in. It's towards the back post, but Olympiacos do manage to get it clear. Great work by Kovalovic to get that there. And I think we've been given a penalty by the looks of it. A foul on Adamo by Williams. Does look very, very soft. We're going to get VAR. It's probably going to be overturned because it's for us. Oh, no, it's been given a penalty. It didn't look like there was much in the challenge to me, but we have been awarded a penalty. I think it's going to be Luis Carlos to take it. It is, and he sends the goalkeeper the wrong way to give Aris the lead over the champions Olympiacos in the 5th minute. We just have to hold on to it now. We're straight into another highlight, though. This is probably the equaliser for Olympiacos, but Bomb does win that at the end. It's Adamo to the goal scorer, Luis Carlos, feeding Savkovic. He's in behind. It's a good save by the goalkeeper, but I think the linesman's got his flag up anyway for offside. It did look like Savkovic went a little bit early. Right, 15 on the clock, and it's Olympiacos with the ball. It's Wagner sweeping ball out wide to the right-hand side, and the Albertus is all by himself in the penalty area. Elected to take it first time, and thankfully for us, not that it makes much difference. It's a bit of a dead rubber, this game. It's more about bragging rights over beating Olympiacos, who have absolutely romped the league this season, by the way, guys. 17 points clear of PAOK in 2nd place. Many more than us, but considering where we took over Aris, deep in the bottom, at the bottom of the table, I think we've had a fantastic season. And I do think we can build on that next season with Aris. But I think in terms of getting the save and Greece ticked off as quickly as possible, we're getting AEK with the massive finances they've got, the much better players that we've got, and we can go on and win the league. Bear in mind as well, guys, that AEK are actually the defending champions. They did win it last season, so it just does show you how much of a poor season they've had. They're nearly 40 points behind Olympiacos, so AEK have taken the lead now. Unfortunately for us, we need PAOK to equalise, and they have straight away. We'd like the AEK manager to lose his job very, very much. This has been a very quiet second half, though, guys. You've had to put up with me rambling on. as AEK do take the lead again, unfortunately. They are going to miss out on Europe, though, and that could be quite important. You may notice that there's no Panathinaikos in the top 6 as well. They have already sacked their manager for not making the top 6. Panathinaikos, I probably discussed this earlier on in the episode, but they're a similar sort of position financially and player-wise to us, as the Olympiakos player has been allowed to run the full length of the field with the ball there without a single challenge going in. I think our guys are on the beach already with it being a dead rubber. Daktilas is not, though, and he's made a good save to pluck that one out of the air. Come on, Pauk, get a goal. It doesn't look like Pauk did, but we have won. We have beat the champions, which is a very good result. And AEK actually won 3-1 in the end, so that could be a stay of execution for their manager. Unfortunately for us, we'll obviously find out as we go forward whether the AEK manager is going to keep his job. Their board might decide that he's had a poor season with a -1 goal difference and just get rid of him anyway. But Aris have qualified for Europe, which is fantastic. Fantastic news for Aris. Where we're at going forward, though, guys, we've also, in between the first game of this episode and the second game of this episode, we've had a board takeover and we're no longer in debt. How much money I've got to spend, because you can see there 13 million brought in this month. I am going to obviously do the off-season, the pre-season, as I would if I was going to be the Aris manager. I am going to obviously keep an eye on AEK because I really, really want to get in there. They've got 3 wins in the last 5, which has possibly saved Adamikis' job, unfortunately. But I will monitor it. But I am going to build Aris as much as I can to go into next season. That is the end of this season, guys, and it is the end of the episode. Any comments? Let me know how you think the series is going. We're in nation number 20, of course. I'd love to hear some feedback. I really would, guys. Just obviously let me know. It's good to hear from you, and it's good to talk to you and reply to you. But guys, thank you very much for being here. It is the end of the episode. It's the end of the season. Hopefully next season we've got either a good team to win the league or we're in a different job. We'll find out. But guys, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next episode. So cheers, guys. Catch you later.